Hi everybody, welcome to a special District 3 playoff edition of the Huddle pregame show. I'm Keith Schweiger, joined by Tim Gross, and in this video we'll be getting you ready for the 3 games in the Class 6A bracket that involve Lancaster-Lebanon League teams. We have 3 teams from Section 1 in the field. Wilson, which won yet another section title, comes in as the number 2 seed and will host number 7 Central York. Warwick is the number 5 seed and they travel to number 4 Cumberland Valley. And Manheim Township slipped in as the number 8 seed and will get a rematch with top-seeded Central Dauphin. So Tim, let's start with Wilson. The Bulldogs get to play their first round game at Gursky Stadium in West Lawn, where they hardly ever lose. What kind of draw did they get with Central York?
Well, Central York is a pretty good team. They played 1 game against the Lancaster-Lebanon League opponent. They beat Hempfield 48-42 in Week 3, which is a long time ago, but that was also when Hempfield was kind of going through that rebuilding stage after losing all of its seniors. So it kind of take a little bit from that, but maybe not too much. Central York also has a running back, Narega Goff, who has he's a 1,000-yard rusher, 14 touchdowns. They also have 2 receivers, Sakai Barton and Tim Sturgis, who have 7 receptions and 6 receptions for touchdowns respectively. So they're kind of balanced, but I think Wilson, they're the number 2 seed for a reason. I think they've been challenged this year. Maybe there's been whispers that they're not as strong as Wilson teams in the past, but you know, at the end of the day, they rolled through Section 1 of the LL League, and they're the number 2 seed in the district. So I think they have an advantage. I think, like you said, they're at home, and they hardly ever lose there. So it might not be an easy game for Wilson, but I think they certainly have the tools to handle it and move on.
Okay, well, let's move on to the Warwick-Cumberland Valley game. On one hand, Tim, it's great that the Warriors made the playoffs. This is their first trip since the 2010 season, but they draw a road trip to Cumberland Valley, which is one of the district's most successful programs, throughout playoff history. How big of a challenge do they face? Yeah,
even this year, Cumberland Valley has been toward the top of the power rankings all season. They've lost a couple games down the stretch here, but you know, that mid-Penn division they're in is pretty good too. So a tough draw for Warwick. One of the things that's in Warwick's favor is their turnovers. I think they're 15-9, their turnover ratio. They haven't thrown an interception until last week. So in a way, it might be good that they got that out of the way before the playoffs, so it's not like it's an added pressure for them. And I think they're a confident team. I think going and beating Manheim Township, and even earlier in the season playing Wilson pretty tough after Wilson had such a strong record against Section 1 teams. I think Warwick will be a gamer in this one, but Cumberland Valley, I think the pedigree there and just the way they played this season, they beat Central Dauphin earlier. I think that'll be it's a pretty tough road for Warwick to get through this one.
Well, we'll see how they fare. And finally now, let's take a look at Manheim Township. The Blue Streaks fought their way into the playoffs by beating Penn Manor in Week 10 and getting a little bit of outside help. And now they get Central Dauphin, the number 1 seed, who beat them pretty handily in Week 1. What do you think they have to do to sort of spring the upset in the rematch here?
Well, I mean, it's a cliche in sports. I think it's a little bit overrated, but getting in and playing kind of with house money. It's like, sure. What do you have to lose? You're going up against the top seed. You just barely got in the playoffs. I think one of the things that Township has going for it, though, is its offense had a lot of changes going after the offseason. They obviously brought in a new quarterback, and I think Grayson Saladay, the running back, has become a really key part of their offense, and he wasn't getting it going the first couple weeks of the season. I think they really got him to a solid performing level, and he's been pretty solid the last 7 or 8 weeks. So I think that's an element that we hadn't seen in the Week 1 matchup, but Central Dauphin too, they're just a really tough team and have proven themselves to be one of the top teams in District 3. It'll be really tough to knock off.
Yeah, thank you, Tim. Be sure to check out Tim and I in our video breaking down the Class 5A and 4A matchups, which involve the 3 LL League participants from Section 2. You can visit Lancaster Online for live playoff updates Friday night, and check us out on social media as well. For Tim Gross, I'm Keith Schweiger. Thanks for watching.